people? Welcome back to another episode of the Ecom Unlimited podcast. It's your boy Kaj. Today, got something a little bit different for you. When I was at Amazon Accelerate a few weeks ago, I recorded a podcast episode in partnership with Amazon Ads in their really cool creator studio. Recorded a podcast with Jonah Hodges on the topic of Q4 and using insights to best prepare for and use Amazon Ads successfully this holiday season. We drop a lot of gems, will be very valuable and actionable for you guys. And with that, let's get right into the interview.
You don't have to be an expert at all of this, at all. I started out, I would do a little bit myself, and then I see, okay, this is something that works. Am I gonna spend all my time now digging into brand analytics, or should I hire a team that's a specialist here?
How do you forecast for the additional demand that just naturally comes in Q4?
In my experience, year over year, you're gonna have a better feel, right? So you know when it starts to pick up and you know when it starts to slow down.
What's up, guys? My name is Cajua Robinson. I am a brand partner for selling on Amazon. So I partner directly with brands, buy and stock their product, and help them manage the Amazon platform as well. I've been selling on Amazon since 2017. And today I have with me a good friend and business partner, Jonah Hodges. Jonah, you mind introducing yourself real quick?
So I started off reselling textbooks, literally anything I could get my hands on. That transitioned into wholesale, and now I do the same exact thing as Kaj. I'm a brand partner. We're working with about 30 brands now, and we do A to Z Amazon management for them.
Awesome. Great. Thanks for the intro. So topic for today is going to be around preparing for the big events in Q4. So think Prime Day, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, as well as just those couple weeks leading up to Christmas. So first topic I want to touch on quickly for that is, how do you approach promotions, whether that's coupons, subscribe and save, Prime Day deals, anything like that for the brands that you manage on Amazon?
When you're a reseller, it's a little bit different with advertising, right? Because we have to be profitable. I have plenty of brands that will want to spend on ads. I have other brands that spend nothing on ads. So every brand is different. What we do with most of our brands though is coupons. So subscribe and save coupons is something that I want to go deeper in. We do the subscribe and save program, and then Amazon ads, of course. For Q4 and special deals and days like that, it really depends, like I said, on your margin when you're a reseller, because it's great if you're going to make a bunch of sales, right, on Prime Day and run discounts, but you also need to make sure you're scaling properly. Every brand is different. We're going to have some that we do large discounts with, and there's some where maybe we do none, but we'll still advertise.
In general, have you seen a higher rate of whether it's click-through or conversion when you're running those kind of promotions for your brands?
Absolutely. So I had a meeting yesterday with our strategic Amazon service rep. One of the main topics he told me was, hey, you guys need to spend more. Conversion rate looks good. CTR's there. And this is what a lot of resellers don't understand, is when you're selling brands that are already in demand, they're already well known, you're going to have a completely different perspective on PPC than if you're a brand launching from scratch. Once you have those brands that already have a little traction, it's a lot easier to get up and running, get some clicks, and you'll see the conversion on Amazon's way higher than any platform because of customer trust. So I am more than willing to, and I want to invest more into the platform because the returns are so great.
Moving towards the topic of search engine optimization within the Amazon marketplace, as well as knowing your customer demographic, who is purchasing that product on Amazon, how do those two things factor into how you're preparing for Prime Day, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and Christmas?
With SEO, that's obviously step one with brand growth, right? We have brands that we've talked to and they go straight to PPC and they're spending money and they don't know why they're not as profitable as they'd want. And we go back and look at the listing and there's no SEO, images aren't properly done, keywords that should be in the listing are not there. So step one, we go back and we use all popular tools to pull this data. You can see how many searches per month per keyword. And from there, we specialize on buyer intent keywords. So buyer intent SEO. A lot of these are long tail keywords. For example, I have a product we sell a decent amount of. It's a shampoo. We don't spend anything on shampoo because it's not going to make any sales, right? But
the search term shampoo.
The search term shampoo.
Right.
It's too pricey. I can't differentiate myself at all. But what about shampoo, restorative shampoo for swimmers? Very specific, right?
Yeah.
Has nowhere near the amount of volume as shampoo, but whoever's searching for that product wants to buy restorative shampoo for swimmers, right?
Right.
So I can actually dominate a lot of these long tail keywords. And then obviously we want them throughout the Amazon listing and all that, also on the back end. And then we advertise to those keywords. And Amazon loves it. It's like a flywheel effect when you have SEO, PPC, and then lastly, product in stock, because none of this works if you don't have enough inventory.
Yep, 100%. Okay, great. And are there any sort of tactics that you're using with SEO specifically around the holidays? Like, do you ever find that there may be certain search terms that perform better in Q4, or is it mainly just making sure you're locked in on what's working all year round?
Yeah, so for us, it's mainly the latter,
Okay.
locking in on what's working. Like I mentioned before, it's all about your brand, right? I
Right.
personally don't have any Q4 brands where all of our revenue comes in the last 3 months of the year.
Got it.
So I'm not going to tailor our strategy too much. So rather than keywords we're focusing on, it's more making sure we have plenty of product in stock before those dates, and then coupon, subscribe and save, and PPC.
How do you forecast for the additional demand that just naturally comes in Q4?
So, in my experience, year over year, you're going to have a better feel, right? So, I know what we sold last year, I know what we sold the year before. And when you're a seller who's been through enough years on Amazon and you've been working with brands for so long, you know when it starts to pick up and you know
Yeah.
when it starts to slow down.
Right.
So, we've dealt with stockouts where we didn't stock up enough and our brand's like, oh, what are you guys doing? And then we've also had where we just don't have, we have way too much inventory going
Right.
out of season. And then it's like, what do you do here? Got to move through it. So it is very strategic on how much inventory to carry as well.
Got it. Okay. I want to talk about customer demographics a little bit, as well as brand analytics. And this is something I think, especially for resellers, that people
Hmm.
aren't super aware of. Again, for you and I, we both partner directly with brands.
Hmm.
Our preference is to be at it within brand registry so that we get access to this kind of data.
Hmm.
What data are you looking at within brand analytics to help you be more targeted with your Amazon ads
Hmm.
overall, and specifically looking at Q4?
Okay. Yeah. So there's a few ways I could go with this. What I'll tell you is number one, a lot of people don't even know what brand registry is, right? They don't know it's a separate account. So we have to educate ourselves. We have to educate resellers and brands
Yeah.
why brand registry is important, because there's so many brands that aren't even in the platform at all.
Right.
So before I go into deep metrics, you need to be brand registered. Then we get brand registered. One of the bigger keys I'd say is market basket analysis. So we're big into bundles, variety packs, multi packs, because I'm a reseller, right? I'm buying the inventory. I need to move it, but I also want to add value to my brands. So this is what I'll do. I'll go to the shampoo brand and I say it's selling very well. Why don't you have a shampoo conditioner bundle? I can see on market basket analysis it's actually bought together very frequently. So once you get all the analytics from brand registry in those brands, you can make way smarter decisions.
Yes, 100%. And is there anything you're doing with the search query performance report out of brand analytics?
Yes. So this is the thing too, is you don't have to be an expert at all of this at all. So I started out, I would do a little bit myself, and then I see, okay, this is something that works. Am I going to spend all my time now digging into brand analytics, or should I hire a team that's a specialist here? So for me, there's plenty of, you have agencies, you can have remote workers, guys that are actually specialists at Amazon ads, at listing optimization, things like that. So for me, I have a team that manages all that. I put my focus on brand relations. So I'm looking for the next brand. I'm making sure my partners are feeling taken care of, and all the back end is pretty dialed right now. So I know a decent amount, but I have nowhere near the amount of experience as the
Sure.
guys that on my team.
Got it. I know some of this is like really new information, as in announced this morning in Amazon Accelerate, but I'm just curious your take on some of the new AI features that are coming out within the campaign manager and some and other places in Amazon too, and if you've tried out any of those.
Yeah, so that is something we're looking into deeply as well. Anybody who's a brand partner and has landed a brand like yourself knows how much work goes into it once you have to grow the brand and create images and all that. AI is making that much quicker now. We are still new to it myself, so have the team, right? But now I'm at the point where it's like, I don't want to continue growing a team if AI is going to do all the heavy lifting, right? So I was telling my partner this. I think we should spend a day every week learning about AI, and especially within our Amazon business, because it's replacing every single day a new tool, a new task that you don't have to do manually. So, like you said, announce today. There's plenty of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go back, look into like where we're dropping the ball,
Yeah.
and then make adjustments from there.
100%. Have you used Amazon Marketplace Cloud?
Yes, so we're new to that as well. We have been using it. Amazon announced this like a week ago that
Yes.
every seller has this. So if you have a Seller Central account, you now have access to AMC. AMC is a program that brands and agencies used to pay six figures for. It was very exclusive. Not everybody had this, but the amount of data inside AMC is crazy. So we are now able to create sponsored campaigns for people who have the product on their wish list. We are creating campaigns for people who have the product in their cart, but they didn't check out. So think about this as a reseller. When you're talking to brands, how valuable is that if I'm able to say, you have nobody doing these things for you, right? I can create campaigns to bump customers in your cart. And so there's all these different ways. You mentioned demographics. You now are able to see income levels of each buyer, which is insane, where they're at locally, and you can target based on the demographics as well.
Yeah, I think that data is so powerful. And I remember when brand analytics first came out for all sellers too. And Amazon has continually been giving more data to the sellers, which at the end of the day makes it easier for us to make decisions based on those insights and then have a better experience overall, both for Amazon, for the customer, and for the sellers. Just a win-win situation.
Yeah.
And like we were talking about briefly before we started recording the podcast, like I was thinking, okay, Prime Day happens, someone looks at your product, adds it to a wish list, adds it to their cart, doesn't actually buy it on Prime Day, and then Black Friday, Cyber Monday comes around, and then you use that data to retarget that customer,
Yeah.
and then they're already aware of the product, and so that
Yes.
conversion is just going to be way easier.
Yeah, and so it's all funnel, right? So
Yep.
there's top of funnel. Your top of funnel ads are going to be very different from somebody who's seen the product 10 times and they still haven't purchased, right? Why waste money on a campaign for the top of funnel guy if the bottom of funnel is completely different? AMC makes it now where you can target by wherever they are at in that funnel.
Yep.
So, it's something where if you're a brand, this is a lot of information, right? Especially if you've never dabbled in PPC. Most brands just stay on the sideline. There's a lot of misconceptions with Amazon, especially resellers. As a reseller, you can't even you can't do any advertising if you're not on the featured offer. If you don't have the buy box, you can't advertise at all, which means I can't grow your product, which means we got to get rid of all these resellers, right? So as a reseller now, the real goal is to move into a partner and show a brand why they need to invest in Amazon instead of just spreading their goods everywhere.
Yes, 100%. Let's talk a little bit more specific on Amazon ads. And I kind of want to hear for the brands that you're partnered with, what campaign types have been successful for you, and if there are any different strategies that you're going to employ specifically for any of the big Q4 days.
This is something for us and our brands. Depends on the brand, like I've mentioned, right? And I talked to brands about this before we even partner with them. Every brand has different intentions. Are you trying to make money? Are you trying to get more impressions? Because I need to know these things beforehand. I have brands who don't understand Amazon ads at all, so they don't want to invest in it. And why would they, right? If you do it improperly and you just throw money everywhere, obviously it's going to be a waste of money, right? But instead, what we'll do is, since we're the buy and stock resellers, I now have product. I have to move your inventory, right? So when I'm talking to a brand, how I position it is I have skin in the game too. Everybody else, an agency, they're going to charge you a retainer. They're going to charge you a % of ad spend. With us, I actually want to give you money. So I'm buying your product. Let's say I have 25% margins. I can reinvest a % of that back into ads. So for our brands, what I'll do is I try to get an ad budget. Let's say they don't want to, I invest my own money into it. So we spend $60,000 a month on ads, probably 90% is in-house budget. And we're only able to do so because we're profitably growing. I go back to my brands after and I said, hey, we spent $3,000 last month. Would you like to match the budget so we can scale further? And it gives me more firepower then to invest in the ads. And some brands, they never see the vision, right? And I'm only going to scale them as far as this relationship will go.
100%. Are there any specific campaign types that you're employing? Is it like mainly auto?
Sponsored product, sponsored brand, depends how much control you have over the brand.
Okay.
Let's say you are working with a brand and there's 5 other resellers. I'm not going to sponsor the brand. There's no point of me sponsoring your brand storefront and the customer falls on it and buys another product, right? Sponsored products different, right? Sponsored product, I'm highlighting specific products, and that's gone really well for us. Obviously, brand search terms, that's one thing, but everything that's not branded terms too, these long tail keywords we have a lot of success with. There's a lot that goes into campaigns, right? You can have one product that has 50 different campaigns running. It's a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
Brands and resellers aren't ready to put their money where their mouth is either because of the trial and error. You're going to lose some money with ads, but you have to see the long-term vision. It's not losing money. You're investing into growing this brand.
Yep. It's market research.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. And that's the importance of becoming that long-term partner,
Mhm.
right? Because you have a short-term vision. It's short-term for a reason. With that long-term vision, then you can strategically align with a brand, especially if they're growth-minded, because that's the brand that you, like you said, they'll match
Yeah,
the
exactly.
ad budget. They'll give you more to invest because you've already put your own dollars into investing into ads, and then you get a positive return on that.
Yeah.
Or even if it's still just research, you can then talk with the brand and say, hey, like these are the kind of keywords that customers are using to find your product. What do you think about this? Do you think that's relevant? Like you can just have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
And then from there, just continue to scale and grow.
And a simple way to start that conversation when it comes to advertising is, let's say you're already selling a brand or you're researching a brand, search that brand on Amazon, see what comes up. That's sponsored. What other brands are sponsoring that keyword? I then go back to that brand and say, look at your competitors right now. They're spending all this money on your branded term. Why don't we get, in the driver's seat there, spend some money on ads as a defensive strategy to get them off, but also for growth opportunities. So that's why it varies, but at the end of the day, we want to further scale your brand, and I think there's a blueprint to Amazon. Every brand follows, the brands that follow it properly are scaling properly.
100%. All right, starting to move to a close here, but I also wanted to talk on logistics briefly. Prime Day was announced as being October 7th and 8th, and so actually pretty much this week is when inventory needs to be getting in for Amazon to guarantee Prime Day availability, as well as Black Friday, Cyber Monday, so that's end of November into the beginning of December, and then it's October 20th and 30th, depending on your shipment split type, is when inventory needs to be in for those days. How important is it just to be in stock or maybe even overstocked during those times to ensure success?
Right. That's a good point you made. That's actually the first step. I'm not going to optimize your listings. I'm not going to run ads if you don't even have product to sell. So there's brands you'll start working with, you start scaling them up, and then there's an inventory issue. That's not going to work for anybody. And Amazon wants you to have stock. Right? They don't want you to stock out. It's not good for anybody. So we try to carry at least 30 to 45 days of stock. We have brands that we've been selling now for a while, so we know their lead times. We know our process for shipping it in. So Prime days and stuff like that's not a big differentiator for us. I'm not going to move so many units that those 2 days wipe my whole stock out. So just making sure we have those dates in mind, I would say.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, I hope you got value from this conversation. Once again, I'm Cajua. This is Jonah. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you on the next one.